Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome to the weekly Srimad Bhagavatam session. And today's session is the Canto 5, Chapter 5, as Premchandra Prabhu told. So, the session is entitled The Teachings of Lord Rishabdev, right? So, to his sons. So, as all of us know, Lord Rishabdev is the direct incarnation of the Lord. So we get to know about how he is instructing his sons, and moreover, it's important for us to understand that these instructions are meant for us as well. So if we imply the instructions in our lives, that will be very beneficial for us. So I think with that, we can start. Yes. So I have created an acronym for this particular chapter, Canto 5, Chapter 5. So the acronym is Tapasya. So each and every letter of this Tapasya, Tapasya, they stand for particular teachings which Lord Rishabdev instructed his sons. So the first one being the letter T, we can start with Tapasya, which is which is I think where everything starts. So in the first loka, Maharaj Rishabdev is mentioning that, my dear boys, like all the living entities who have accepted these material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night. Only for like sense gratification, there is no point for us to work like, cats and dogs. We are continuously working. Instead of that, we need to put a heart in devotional service, in the service of Sri Krishna, right? Because as we have heard, um, Save Pumsam Paro Dharmo, Yato Bhakti Radhokshije, right? So the our main primary duty is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So tapasya. Now tapasya, right? There are many types of tapasya. So living as grahasthas, one may think, I need to do meditation. I need to focus so much in Krishna consciousness. I need to dedicate a large part of my life. But that is not really required in grahastha terms. That might be required for a sannyasi because that's a different type of life, right? So for different varnashramas, we have different type of tapasya. Mostly for the grahasthas, if you are able to control our senses. The tapasya of the senses is the greatest. And then there is tapasya of our vani, where we can control our words. And there is tapasya over food. We can control our food habits. And then, as Rupa Goswami mentions in the first look of Nectar of Instruction, the control over genitals and the belly. So these are the main types of controls, the tapasya we can follow. Uh, I think the greatest example of tapasya we can take is Dhruva Maharaj. So, as we all know the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, uh, his mother is so basically Dhruva Maharaj's father, Tanapada, did not uh, did not allow Dhruva Maharaj to sit on his own lap. I'll just go through it quickly because he loved one of his queens more than the other. And Dhruva Maharaj took it very personally, and he did not really like it. So over the period of 5 months, he completely detached from this material world, and he even stopped eating, drinking, breathing. So that was a very high level of tapasya, and we can see that Lord Vishnu was so impressed by him. Uh, so if we can, if we can put in austerities in this world, right? We can do tapasya. Then Krishna Prema is very easy to obtain. So when Brahma was sleeping, and when Lord Brahma first time woke up and had the glorious darshan of Mahavishnu, the first thing, what was the first thing which he heard? The word tapa, right? So this signifies the importance of tapasya, which is austerity. So this is the first teaching where Lord Rishabdev starts by instructing his sons, and everything comes from this. So only once we do tapasya, uh, austerity, the other things fall down, right? So now coming to the next acronym, TA. So A stands for association. So association is, I mean, we all know how important association is, right? So there are so many pastimes that association has either caused the fall down of a person who is in spirituality, or he has changed the person from a very, very fallen down perspective to a great devotee of the Lord, right? So does anyone know any pastime, any story where a very famous devotee and he's following his bhakti very nicely, but just one small association and he fell down? So,
Ajamila. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Ajamila.
yes, perfect, perfect, Mataji. So, Ajamila was a Brahmana by birth, and he used to perform his sadhana very well. He would perform his Brahmanical, all his Brahmanical activities, and however, only by one small momentary association with a prostitute, right? He saw a man and a prostitute together, and just because of that, he lost all of his good qualities, all of his teachings which he had learned before. Everything went down, right? And he got the prostitute home. He started to live with her. He vanquished. He removed his parents' wife. They told everyone, just get lost, and I only want to live with her. So we can see how just by a small mistake of us, uh, all of a sudden things change. So this is important because in the current time, most of us are associating with materialistic persons for the majority of our lives, right? Personally, for me, I'm working, so I get to associate particularly with devotees only at home, which are my mother, father, sister, and that too, it's only for like an hour or two, right? So that's the thing. So we'll have to manage our association very well. Otherwise, because we can see that Ajamila was at such a high stage, right? I don't think at least I was anywhere close to Ajamila when he was by birth. The way he was performing his Brahminical activities, the way Srimad Bhagavatam describes it, he was really serious. But if he can fall down, then so can us, right? We can have a look at the pastime of Bharat Maharaj as well, who is in fact the eldest son of Maharaj Rishabh Dev, and the fact that he can fall down from his position into just by the association with the deer, right? So it's a very important sign that wo- all of us need to be very alert of association and whom we associate with. And on the other hand, association can completely transform us into devotees as well. So there's a very beautiful pastime of Mrigari and Narada Muni. So Mrigari was a very great hunter, and he would kill animals for living. He would sell them meat, eat it, right? So he was living a hellish life, but he did not know about it. But when Narada Muni came, Narada Muni, out of his causeless mercy, instructed him on the right path, right? And just by that momentary association with Narada Muni, he became purified, right? So it's it's important that it's important for us that we associate with devotees in particular, and particularly pure devotees of the Lord, right? If we are usually associating with someone of our own stature, then mostly the problem is both of the person together come down. But if we are associating with someone who's senior, then we might look up to them, and hence we'll be able to come up. Another very famous pastime is of Srila Haridas Thakur, right? Where the prostitute tries to come and lure Srila Haridas Thakur into temptation, but Srila Namacharya uh, is not even moved, and in fact, by his causeless mercy, even the devotee, even the prostitute becomes a devotee of the Lord, right? So it's very lucky for the prostitute that she got the association of Namacharya, but only even with a perverted mindset, she was still able to achieve so much, right? After that, she was able to chant 192 rounds daily. She was sitting in front of Tulsi Maharani and spent rest of her life in the service of Lord Krishna. So we can see how association can either completely destroy us or completely build us, right? So this is the second teaching which Maharaj Rishabh Dev is teaching his sons. And I think it's very practical, and this is one of the most important ones which we can actually bring down in a life. Because tapasya, at least from my point of view, it's little hard for all of us, but association is something which all of us can definitely take care. Yep. Moving on to the next acronym, which is S, right? Sorry, which is A, T-A-P-P. Yep. So purification. Purification. So what really is purification? What do you mean by purification? Purification is nothing but when we get when we basically come out of this anartha nivritti, right? Which is in fact the longest phase of our spiritual journey. And I think personally, I'm still stuck over there. And coming out of this phase is one of the hardest because we have to give up all our anarthas, right? So we need to be basically situated in a very good level of Krishna consciousness. So how do we perform this? Because, as we know, the six miseries, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya, and to get purified of all these is indeed really hard. But by the strength of bhakti, by the strength of devotion, it is not at all impossible. So how is it not impossible? We can see very clearly in the pastime of Jagai and Madhai. So who were Jagai and Madhai? They were the sons of Brahmanas, right? And there they were so sinful, they would break all the principles, all the rules and regulations, or the four principles are very basic for them. So they would read the scriptures so that they can break the rules and regulations. Now, of course, by the mercy of Lord Nitai, okay, I'll just quickly cover it. So once it happened is Lord Nityananda saw these two, Jagai and Madhai, and he thought that they're living in such a hellish kind of life, so I should liberate them. I should help them come back to Krishna, come to take the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he goes to Jagai and Madhai and requests them that, please, can you please come and, take bhakti? It's my humble request to you. So imagine Lord Nitai begging this to you. Lord Nityananda is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still, out of his humility, he's begging Jagai and Madhai. And Jagai and Madhai start to chase them, and Srila Haridas Thakur with Lord Nitai, they are running. So, and they meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is very pleased with this attitude. And he said that no problem, you should continue preaching like this. And of course, the next time as well, when Lord Nityananda sees Jagai and Madhai, he tells them the same, that you should take up to Krishna consciousness when Madhai hits a pot on Lord Nityananda's head, and immediately Nityananda's head starts to bleed. And this news reaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's really angry that how dare someone touches my devotee, and he comes running with the Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, and Lord Nityananda, out of his causeless mercy, stops him and reminds him that he has come descended in this material world as the combined form of Radha and Krishna, so that he can liberate the devotees, right? Not just kill them, and he can instill love of Godhead in them. So and of course, after that, because Jaghai had saved uh, Lord Nityananda from being hit by another pot by Madhai, Lord Mahaprabhu is very pleased with him, and after that he forgets Madhai as well. So we can see Jagai and Madhai, although they were so sinful, right, they still got purified, right? So the whole point of this is we really have hope. Many of us, we will continuously, personally for me, we'll have a lot of burnout phases. Suddenly, we're not able to perform bhakti properly, and time and circumstances, the surroundings change, and family might not be supportive. But in the end, Lord Krishna is very merciful. Mahaprabhu is very merciful. So he'll definitely take care of us, like he did take care of Jagai and Madhai, right? So this is the third point of purification, and which Lord Rishabdev is trying to convey to his sons. Moving on to the fourth point, which is attachment, right? So TAPA, attachment. So the greatest example of attachment is Bharat Maharaj, right? Ironically, Bharat Maharaj is the greatest or the eldest son of Maharaj Rishabh, and Maharaj Rishabh told all of his sons to follow in the footsteps of Bharat Maharaj. But what happened to Bharat Maharaj? So this is a very famous pastime that Bharat Maharaj was in the Mahabhava stage, so just below Prema, right? And his ecstatic symptoms were so high, he used to cry for the Lord. He would daily spend 24 hours in just straight meditation of the lotus feet of the Lord. And it was practically impossible, at least from my point of view, to see anyone come down from that position. But because the Lord wants to teach us, he arranged this beautiful pastime where a deer, mother deer, was crossing over the river, and she jumps, and by the hears the sound, the roar of a lion, and as she's scared and she was pregnant, she delivers her baby, and she passes out. She passed away. Now, Bharat Maharaj is very merciful, as the devotees of the Lord are very merciful, and he goes there and starts to take care of the deer. So it's very important for us to know that our mercy shouldn't be such that it causes our own downfall, right? Because of such a small distraction, just being attached to a deer. Bharat Maharaj thought that, okay, I'll just take care of the deer. Indeed, because they are also a part and parcel of Krishna. So why not? But as we can see, how strong our mind is and how strong Maya is, she just needs one small opportunity, and thereby everything changes. So, Bharat Maharaj starts to take care of this deer, and he gets so attached to the deer that he spends, in fact, the rest of his life spending with the deer, right? And by the end of his lifetime, he looks at the deer and passed away, right? And as a result, he was born as a deer in the next life, and by the mercy of the Lord, he remembered his previous life, and he was really disappointed in himself. And because he had proper prayashchita, next life he got as Jada Bharata, and he lived in complete renunciation in that life, and thereby he was able to complete his spiritual journey, right? So this is a very important pastime that we might not be as lucky as Bharat Maharaj. That the next time, if we get the body of any animal, we'll remember that, okay, I was Vedant last time. I need to change. So it's very important for us that we need to change right now. So developing attachment to materialistic positions is harmful. So, where should we develop attachment then? Because we need to be attached to someone, right? We cannot just be bland and sitting all day. Okay, I'm going to do nothing. I'm not attached to anyone. I'm just sitting silently. But unfortunately, we are humans. So, for us, it won't be possible. So, we need to develop attachment to God Nitai, to Lord Gauranga. In this age of Kali Yuga, Lord Gauranga ensures that one who is chanting the name of God, if you're sincere, so then is no problem. But even if you're not able to do it properly, Lord God Nitai are very merciful. So, because they come so rarely on this material world, once every day of Brahma, once every thousand Chaturyaga cycles. So, this particular period of time, they're very merciful. So, let us all take very good use of this and be attached to the lotus feet of God Nitai. There is one more very important type of attachment which should not be there, which is the attachment to liberation. So Rupa Goswami mentions there was a very famous pastime of Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami, where Rupa Goswami is mentioning Bhukti Mukti Spriha Yavat Pishachi Hridi Vartate Tavat Bhakti Sukhasyatra Katham Abhyudayo Bhavet. So here Rupa Goswami is mentioning that desire to liberation, to get liberation, particularly that desire. Okay, one may think that, okay, I might want to return back to Godhead in order to serve the Lord, which is still okay. But the desire, okay, I want to get liberated from this material bondage. Why? So that I can enjoy in the spiritual world. That desire, right? And the desire to enjoy these materialistic positions, both are like the two witches. And without the removal of these two witches, getting Krishna Prema is not possible. So it's very important that not only don't we have the desire of not enjoying this materialistic positions, but we should also avoid the desire of being liberated, which might be a little difficult, at least for me, because I think one of the main ideas of liberation, at least from the neophyte perspective, is that we might get released of everything and we can enjoy. But bhakti does not revolve like that. Srila Prabhupada tells us that bhakti means surrendering to the Lord. So whatever the Lord tells, whatever is favorable for him, however we can please him, that should be bhakti, right? We should not look for our own benefit. So this was about attachment, and yes, I think there are many multiple locations of attachment. We can see the gopis attached to Krishna, and we can see the wives of Brahmanas who are making prayers to Krishna. And these are the good sides of attachment, where when you're attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how you can change. And on the other hand, uh, we can take the example of Maharaj Chitraketu, where he became so attached to his son that he forgot the purpose of his life in this material world. And of course, later in the end, when his son died, they got to know that, he became the biggest problem of his happiness and his distress, right? And then finally he realized that, the material world is just temporary, but attachment to the Lord is permanent because Krishna is always there, right? So, yes, this finishes with the attachment. Now, let us go to the fifth point, which is S, service. So, why is service so important? So, if we see bhakti, Srila Prabhupada has transformed it, given the English translation not as devotion, but as devotional service. So, it's not that, devotion simply means we sit somewhere and we are chanting. Of course, that's very nice. Chanting is, in fact, the greatest thing which one can do. But and it's the greatest service which one can do. However, if we engage our senses in direct service of the Lord, then it's very beneficial for our chanting as well. So, what happens is if one is perfected his chanting, then the chanting can be considered as direct service to the Lord because the devotee is basically merged into the pastimes of the Lord. But at the neophyte stage, if we are able to engage all of our senses, in different type of services like reading scriptures, smelling the flowers of the Lord which have been offered to him, deity worship, and temple services, then all of our senses together become purified, right? And our whole body is dedicated for the service of the Lord. I think the best example is none other than Lord Hanuman, who completely dedicated himself for the service of the Lord. And as we know, he even set fire to the Lanka and saved did not say particularly save Mother Sita, but helped Lord Ramchandra significantly in order to get Mother Sita back. And we can see how, by the service attitude of the Lord, how happy Lord Ramchandra was, right? So, yep, service is one of those things which is so important in our lives. Although we might not consider it, but at some or the other time, we are always serving anyone, right? That's what a Sanatan Dharma tells, that this eternal dharma of service will always continue. Either we will serve God or we will serve dog, as Srila Prabhupada says. Either we will serve Krishna or we will serve our own material senses. So it is important that we serve Krishna and not our material senses. And how do we do this? How is this possible? That's possible only by the mercy of the Lord, right? And how do you get mercy of the Lord? You get mercy of the Lord from Guru, right? Which brings us to our next point, which is why. TAPAS, why. Now, why stands for your responsibilities. So, this is very important. And although a lot of times uh, they are neglected, but I think they play a significant role. And Srila Prabhupada has mentioned many times about these. So, our responsibility includes as a father, mother, husband, a spiritual master, as a friend. We have many responsibilities, right? So, responsibilities and duties. So, one of our duties is to be indebted, right? We are indebted to demigods, we are indebted to our parents because, in a way, they provide for all of us. Because of our present parents, we got the birth in this beautiful family and we are able to perform bhakti. And because of the demigods, right? Because of the demigods, we are getting rains, we're getting everything properly, right? All the resources. So we are in a way indebted to them. But if we are able to satisfy Lord Krishna, who's the root of all everything, then if we water the tree, or if we water the root of a tree, all the other parts, like the fruits, leaves, the stems, they all get nourished, right? So that is from the little general point of view. Now coming in, Lord Rishabdev mentions it very clearly that if one is not able to liberate his own son, right? Liberated one his own son, disciple, then one is not fit to be a father, mother, husband, spiritual master, right? So what he means is if you want to be a father, then you should ensure that your son, he definitely gets liberation. If you are a mother, you should ensure that your son is on the right path, your daughter is on the right path. As a spiritual master, it is the duty of a spiritual master to take care of his disciple. Similarly, it is the duty of the husband to make sure that his wife is on the right path, right? So um Lord Rishabdev is mentioning one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death does not fit to be in the position. So basically, he's saying right now we can see that basically none of the members of a family are in Krishna consciousness. So Lord Rishabdev is saying basically that you're not fit to be a father and you're not fit to be a spiritual master. Spiritual master, I think, is really high. So if even if just talking about normal family members, we are not at all fit to be a father, mother, um, or a husband if you are not able to deliver a dependence. So it's very important for us to know that not only do we have to take care of our own bhakti, but for those who are dependent on us, right? Who spend so much of time for us, who help us so much through all of our devotion, and even generally, everyone around us, we should be right. We should be very dutiful and ensure that they all are in the right path. So this brings us to the point of preaching. So preaching is one of those things which impresses the Lord the most. So I heard from one of Shankpani Prabhu's classes that at the end of his life, basically Lord is eternal. But when Lord Krishna was returning back, or when Lord Krishna was going back, he was leaving from Dwapar Yug, leaving this material world. Does anyone know whom he was remembering during that time? When the hunter shot the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking that it was the eye of a deer, Lord Krishna decided that, it's time to wrap up his pastimes. He would go back to the spiritual world, but he particularly remembered someone during that time. Does anyone know whom he remembered that time?
उद्धवा.
हरे कृष्ण.
Yes, please.
हरे कृष्ण
Ye-
प्रभु. उद्धवा.
Sorry,
उद्धवा.
Uddhava. Okay, yes, that's correct. Okay,
He remembered Radha Rani also.
yes, yes. So, Bhagavatam particularly describes he remembered Vidura during that time as well. So, now why would he remember Vidura? There are so many other devotees. It's not like anyone is less or more, but this teaches us something very important. All his life, Vidura has preached. Wherever he went, he instructed everyone righteously about the Lord, not taking into consideration the circumstance, right? Even if it would cause him his own problems, still he instructed others on the right path. And this quality is very impressive of the Lord, right? Very impressive from a devotee. That if one is able to preach in spite of the unfavorable surroundings, and still he's very merciful to the conditioned souls, then the Lord is very merciful unto him. So this was the fifth point, uh, right? So Yep. Sorry, this was the sixth point of your duties, right? Your responsibilities in the as taught by Lord Rishabdev. Now the last point, A, which stands for awakening of the soul. So what is this awakening of the soul? One needs to awaken this Krishna consciousness within oneself, right? So we can see in the pastime of Gajendra that Gajendra was a in this past life he was a devotee of the Lord, but as a result, because of his materialistic life, he got the body of an elephant, and he lived for so many years, enjoying as an elephant. But at the end of his life, uh, when a crocodile caught his leg, everything changed, right? So it's the same for materialistic people that they're enjoying. Everyone is continuously enjoying. Someone might be rich, someone might have very beautiful body, but one must know that in this material world, all of that is just very temporary, right? Anything, all the circumstances in this material world just take a fraction of a second to change. And similarly for Gajendra, what happened? The crocodile caught his leg. And now, all of a sudden, all of those people, all of those family, which were meant to protect him, which were meant to save him, now are ignoring him. Now you go live your own life. So that's how the material world is. If we are overly attached to family, friends, right? Then in the end, we are the ones who will fall into a problem. However, by the mercy of Lord Narayana, Gajendra remembered that the supreme personality of God it is there, and I can always surrender it to him. And Gajendra, even though with his leg caught by the crocodile, offered a beautiful lotus flower, as we have seen in many images, to the Lord. And the Lord, although he prayed for 1,000 years, he prayed for 1,000 years to the Lord, and every all the demigods started to say that Gajendra, you should call us for help, and we may come and help you. So Lord Narayana is Lord Shiva is known as Ashutosh, right? He gets pleased very quickly, but Lord Narayana he really tests you, right? So we have heard a very nice pastime that there's a line and Krishna is asking everyone that what do you want. So if they say that, oh no, we want a nice house, nice bungalow, car, we want a nice wife, husband, and we need to have a very nice life, then Krishna says, okay, you get it immediately and you can go. But if someone asks for bhakti, then Krishna will make them wait, right? And now Narada Muni sees this and he questions Krishna that, why are you doing this? You should give bhakti to that devotee immediately. But Krishna says, no, because what does he say? He says that for the devotees, I'm completely surrendered to them. Here, Krishna is saying that Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mamekam Sharanam Braja, but that's applicable for Krishna also. Krishna also takes the shelter of his devotees. Krishna is very much indebted and very much inclined to protect his devotees, right? We can see in the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj that Lord Narsimhadev is telling Prahlad Maharaj that Lord Vishnu, Lord Narsimhadev or Lord Narayana is telling Prahlad Maharaj that for pure devotees like you, I am your servant, right? So it's such a big thing for the Lord to serve someone. So that's why Lord really tests us. That okay, does this person really want to be? Does this person really want to serve me? Or he's simply making it false. He's putting up some false propaganda. So that's why he might test us in the initial phase, but for sure he loves us always. So like this, Gajendra spent 1,000 years, but he did not ask anyone's help. He said that if I want anyone, I'll only remember and I'll only serve Lord Narayana. And of course, after that, Lord Narayana came and saved him, right? Took him out of uh, he immediately killed the crocodile and saved Gajendra, and Gajendra got liberation. So it's important for us to finally awaken this dormant Krishna consciousness within us, right? So now we will move on. Now I think we have completed the key teachings of Lord Rishabdev. So I think it's very easy for every one of us to remember this acronym called Tapasya. So can anyone just summarize what does each and every letter form, or each and every letter stand for in this acronym Tapasya? Hare Krishna. Anyone? Okay. What does T stand for?
tapasya,
Perfect. A.
Association.
like association.
Yes. P.
P for
Purification.
purification.
Purification. A.
A, attachment.
Attachment. S.
A, service.
Service. Y.
Y, your responsibilities.
Your
Perfect.
responsibility.
And A.
A is for what
Awakening.
stands for
Awakening the soul.
awakening
Awakening
of
the.
soul.
Yes.
Awakening the
Yes.
soul.
So, yep. These are the key teachings of Lord Rishabdev to his sons. And this is where his teaching ends, which are basically first 19 to 20 verses of this chapter. The preceding verses explain the glorious activities and glorious life of Lord Rishabdev. So, although Lord Rishabdev pretended to be a human, he was in fact directly Krishna, right? As we can see in many verses, Lord Rishabdev himself is mentioning himself as Krishna. That you should surrender yourself unto me. You should remember me. You should make myself me as the primary goal of your life. But now we'll just discuss shortly about the beautiful pastimes of Lord Rishabdev. So, Lord Rishabdev had a very beautiful bodily feature. So, just like Mahaprabhu, he had very long arms and a broad shoulder and a very beautiful smiling face. But however, he would roam around in a very ragged clothes, wearing nothing, and he would roam around like a madman. He would just shout, he would go mad for love of Krishna and go here and there. And everyone treated him as a nuisance. Everyone thought that, this person, who is this? Why is he causing trouble? Some people would beat him, some people would throw him, neglect him, people would abuse him and calling him foul words with foul languages, right? And he was urinated upon, he was spat upon, and uh, people even passed foul air before him. So it's really sad to see this, and it's that the Lord Himself, the Supreme Lord Himself, is being disrespected in such a way. But it's important that if Krishna himself is getting is has does not have any problem with this, then why should we? That doesn't mean we should do all of this, but that definitely means that in our lives, when we are living, when we are spreading Krishna consciousness, when we are living on this beautiful path, we should definitely not even 1% be bothered by other people. Other people might come and give their own opinions that you're doing this bad, this is not good, you should enjoy. No, it's completely useless. That's completely futile. What we should focus on our own Krishna consciousness, right? And spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. So as we can see, Maharaj Rishabdev, although all of this is there, he not once retaliated. He just smiles laughingly and he moves around, right? And it's also described that Maharaj Rishabdev would pass on stool and urinate, and he would just roll around in that. And because someone is there, and if he's rolling around in stool, who would go around him? Who would go near him? No one would, right? So similarly, Maharaj Rishabdev would do this. Why? Why was he doing this? So that he can avoid.
Unattached to this.
Yes. So that other people don't come and disturb him, right? We have seen another very nice pastime of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, where he would chant inside the washroom, right, inside public toilets, because it was so smelly that no one would come inside. That does not mean we should imitate them. We should follow in the footsteps of their mindset. What is the bhava? So, what is the mindset? What does Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj want to teach us? He wants to teach us that one must avoid this material type of material association, which is poisonous, right? And one can go to any extent for that. So that's what is being taught. So one must not imitate the acharyas, but follow in their footsteps, right? Um, yep. So as we can see, Lord Rishabdev would roll in the stool and and his own urine. But however, the surprising fact, or it was not even surprising because he is the supreme personality of Godhead, in because any living entity would have a very smelly stool, right? And we have to use the washroom for that. But the stool of Lord Rishabdev was very fragrant. right? He was very pregnant and it spread out 80 miles across. And everyone would wonder what is this fragrance, which is in fact coming from the stool of Lord Rishabdev. So there are things which are not imaginable for us. And Lord Rishabdev's bodily feature was so beautiful, it's described that even the married women would get attracted to him. So of course, because he's the supreme personality of Godhead, we have seen in the case of Lord Krishna as well that any woman, all the women were so much attracted to him because of his beautiful bodily features. So that's how it ends, I think. That Lord Rishabdev would just behave like animals. He would sit down and just randomly eat stuff, not really taking care much of his body. And that's how Lord Rishabdev, just crying for the Lord, uh, he executed his devotional service. And it's it's a it's a very good it's a great fortune for us that we are getting to know about Lord Rishabdev from Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's all glories to Srila Prabhupada that even in this age of Kali, we're able to read Srimad Bhagavatam and enjoy the nectar of it. And yep, although I am taking the class, I might not be able to deliver it so perfectly, but still, all of you came and heard this class, what this lecture. So thank you so much for all your blessings, and kindly forgive me if I made any mistakes. And yep, I think I'll stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So any inputs, any improvements for me, or any questions, I would definitely welcome them.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, the class was wonderful. I just joined, I think, 10 minutes late. But when I joined, it just attracted me. The way you took the class was too good. But I have just one question regarding the A attraction. This one, A attraction, or that point where you said the second part, we should not be attracted to the spiritual world. If something suddenly hit me, like we are here chanting Lord's name and we are remembering Lord and we are thinking, oh, the spiritual world will be it's so lovely with full of pleasant things and we'll be always on in Krishna's service. We'll be always on Krishna's feet. But now does this point mean that we should not think that way?
Yes, Madhuri, that's a really good question. And that's why in the beginning, even I was doubtful about it. But because Rupa Goswami has so significantly mentioned it, right? Bhukti Mukti Spriha, that that both bhoga and the desire of liberation, this particular desire of liberation, not liberation in itself, that those are two completely different things. So if one is thinking, I want to serve Krishna, right? That is good. But you can serve Krishna anywhere. You can
Hmm,
serve
hmm.
Krishna in this material world, even in hell. It's said that if there is a devotee of Krishna in hell, the hell transforms into Vaikuntha, right? Because the devotee is present. So, of course, I don't think I'm at that stage, so I cannot instruct you on that particular matter. But what I understand is we should be careful that we don't have that desire of liberation. And okay, my main goal is liberation. That is what Rupa Goswami means. That my main goal is liberation. There are so many problems in this material world. I want to escape them. So I'm going to Krishna. And Krishna is it's going to be I'm going to be so happy over there. There's going to be no problem. That is the wrong mood of approaching it. The mood of our Guru Parampara, the mood of the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya is devotional service, right? It's bhakti. So we try to satisfy the Lord that Krishna, I am here to serve you, and if at all you think that I'm if I am good enough, however you think, you should completely surrender it to Him. But if you're good enough, Krishna will definitely take you back to Godhead, right? So there's no doubt about it. So our duty is to just remember the Lord and serve Him. Yep. Is it better,
Okay.
Mataji? Does it answer your question?
Yes, but little, yes, not that very much convinced, but yes, maybe I will read through more.
Yes, I think Mataji, Premnanda Prabhu would be able to answer this question better. So, Prabhu, would you
Maybe.
please like to?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Premnanda Prabhuji, would you like to add on anything to this?
No, I think, sorry if I missed the thing that, so I was not able to hear Mataji properly. So the question was that why we should have the desire to serve or?
No, the why the desire of liberation, because
Okay.
we all, in the end we all want liberation, right, from this material world. So why is that desire bad? Yes, that
Okay.
was the question.
Okay. Because if you see, you were rightly answering because your voice was clear. I was not able to hear Mataji's voice very clearly. So I think if we see, Rup Goswami says, "Anya vilashita shundam jnana karma anavritam anukulena krishnanushilanam makti uttama." So any desire, So if you see you were giving the example of Bharat Maharaj, you were giving the example of Ajamila, you know. So any desire, in this material world can lead us to, it can go haywire because this material world is like that. But if we have desire only to serve Krishna, then all, as you were saying, P acronym. So it purifies all other desires. So in this material world, it has been created in such a way that this is the mood is to enjoy, or you get suffer. And as Narad Muni says in the teaching, see Daksha, right? So Daksha's his sons are going for tapasya, and Narad Muni is going there, and he is telling you, why you want to this thing, you do this thing. So in that conversation, Daksha says that this material world is like that. So we should enjoy the material world, and once we get fed up with this material world, that point of time, automatically a person will develop the detachment from the this thing. But Prabhupada, if you read Prabhupada purports to those, conversation, Prabhupada says that it is not possible in this material world to get detached from the desires. It is very difficult to get becoming desireless. So even if the desire for liberation is there, then the problem in that approach is that along with that all the other desires also come up. Like most of the people who are desiring for liberation, and here when we talk about liberation, we are not talking liberation in the sense just going back. So liberation is generally considered as merging into Brahman. So then, even if you go and merge into Brahman, because there is no activity there, then we what happens that we come back to this material world. So that's why devotees don't want to have the desire of even getting liberation, because as you rightly said, the liberation is basically based on the fact that I'm fed up with this material world and I want to go out and come out of this cycle of birth and death. There is no personal connection with the Lord in that, and that's a dangerous thing because there is no attachment to anything. Then the chances are that we'll come and Bharat Maharaj example you were giving the session, that he reached at the stage where which is considered as one of the highest stage of bhava. you know but what happens is just becoming attached to one deer, he gets this thing. So that's why anya vilashita shunyam jnana karma anavritam. So even if it is jnana or karma, any desires, has to be this thing. And it's not possible to be desireless. That's why Prabhupada in purports, wonderfully he writes in many purports that better we, have desire to serve Krishna, then all other desires are automatically. Jnana karma now, neither knowledge nor, fruitive activities. We don't want any of such thing. So liberation as such, for a general person, it is good thing. But for a devotee, he doesn't desire for it because, there are chances of coming back into this material world again. That's all it is. I don't know if that answer Mataji's.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. So that means when we are chanting and we're thinking of the Lord, we just be in that sense of or the conscious of just thinking of the Lord. Don't have any desire. Like don't
Yes,
say that I want to go back to God this Janma. Just
yes,
chant and He will take care. That's right.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Thank you,
I am
Prabhu.
your servant and
Uh,
dasa anudasa anudasa. So that's all. A servant have no desire. That's why this word is added in das and dasi is added into our names after Diksha is
mm.
that we just have only one desire. We just want to serve you. Servant has no desire to anything apart from pleasing the master.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji,
Hare
for
Krishna.
the question.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the clarification. Hare
Anybody
Krishna.
else has any other question or comments? So all the time when the session is there, then generally we hear the comment from Rajshekhar Prabhu appreciating everybody, whoever takes class. So I'm not sure Rajshekhar Prabhu today he will not speak. So on his behalf, I will speak for, appreciating wonderful session you took, Vedant, that, you made it so interesting. Last session only when I took, I was telling that, whenever this kind of sessions comes where it's a lot of philosophy. So I get nervous because I don't know how to, because too much philosophy, how to talk about it. But you have given a very good clue today that next time when I have sessions like this, maybe I should to make it interesting. I think you're taking clue from Radheshyam Prabhu and all these senior preachers of our movement. They generally put, specifically Radheshyam Prabhu. I've seen he puts a lot of acronyms to make the class interesting. Even our what is that Prabhu? Radhanath Maharaj disciple. That Prabhu also, I'm not able, that Prabhu who has affected with the polio. What is that name of that Prabhu? Chan, he also puts a lot of acronyms. So, but I was realizing it today because hearing senior devotees is like, we hear them and just forget them. But now when hearing you, I was just thinking that, you have tried to make it so interesting by a lot of acronyms and stories, and you are giving the wonderful teachings of Rishabh Dev. So wonderful session. Thank you so much for putting so much effort to prepare these acronyms and presenting it to all of us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, also all your blessings. So, kindly, if all of the devotees, if only by your blessings, I think I'm able to take these classes. So I don't even realize that, I'm speaking all